Hey, it's Beerzerker here. Woo! Alright. So, I got the new Innis here. The, Innis and Gunn Canadian Cherrywood finish. Scottish oak aged beer. Okay, so it comes in a box here, so it's not going to be light struck, I would guess. It's a copper color. I'm just reading off the side here. Alright. Very rich and complex, lots of red tart fruit with sweet biscuit mold. The palate is full-bodied and interesting, soft, happy bitterness, red cherries, and maple syrup. The finish is rich and full with lots of caramel and soft fruit. And you should have it with fresh figs and soft goat cheese or smoky pulled pork. Those are a few suggestions they have here. It's 8.3% alcohol. It's a 330 milliliter bottle. It's a Scottish style beer. And you got some artwork on here. It goes through the malts and everything. We'll maybe talk about that a bit later. The beer was matured over Canadian black cherry wood, which was infused with bourbon. And then a touch of maple syrup was added before bottling to give the beer a sweet, tasty twist. Alright, so let's get this show on the road, right? Let me set this down here. Alright, sorry. It was a bit of a price, for me anyway. Bit of a, after tax and deposit, it was $6.39. Alright. Oh, man. Taking here. Well, it's Christmas almost, right? So you gotta give yourself a Christmas treat. Alright, there we go. This is the Cherrywood finish. Alright. Alright, great. To have it in a box, you have the option of letting some light hit it or not, right? And a beer like this, I don't think a light struck would probably do it much harm. Smoke. Alright. Alright. Whoa, that's different. Alright. A little bit of head out of this beer. Can't hurt. Alright. Yep. So I'm picking bourbon up off the nose. It's kind of not a real powerful flavor off the nose, but it does. These guys are really great at describing their flavors and stuff. If you ever visit their website. So the nose is the first one. Tart red fruit. I don't know what that's supposed to mean necessarily. And biscuit malt. Yeah, you're just getting up to malt and red fruit. I don't know. Maybe your strawberries. Yeah. I just smell a lot of bourbon. Whoa. Yeah, that's wow. That's a flavor extravaganza. Oh. The aftertaste is like a nuclear flavor explosion. It's pretty heavy at the start and in the middle, but you're just getting a lot of mouthfeel and things going on there. But then after she goes down, it's just a mind-bending experience. Well, I'm kind of picking up maybe a little bit of the maple syrup in the very end. Wow, this is another great beer from Innis and Gunn. It's more of like a mid-range flavor. It's not like a real um, what's it, you get these color shot of the beer, right? It's a caramely color. Oh, it's getting sweeter. Mm. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they make the association of cherries on there, and yeah, that's kind of what you're getting. Um, I don't know if that has anything to do with the cherry wood, or if that's just a wild coincidence. Because I've sawed up a lot of cherry wood, and it doesn't necessarily smell like cherries. It's nice wood, but it's not not the branch is not the same as the fruit necessarily. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's a dirty, murky looking concoction, but it's sure tasty. Mm. Yeah, the biscuitiness. A lot of people say beers taste biscuity, and I don't really pick that up out of a lot of, especially the lagers. I just don't make that connection. But this is definitely biscuity. It's like a shortbread cookie almost. It's just bam. Yeah, yeah. The bourbon. It's always a good idea when you make beer to throw it in a bourbon barrel. Apparently, because that can't hurt. That gives it great flavors. The yolk mixed with the bourbon. Mmm. Yikes. So they're pulling out cherries and that kind of fruit. Berries maybe a little bit. Not too berry like though, but cherries is a good one. I wouldn't have thought of that, but that's what they say, and that's what it tastes kind of like. You got maple syrup. You got your maltiness, your biscuity malts. Oh, you got your caramel and your toffee, and then you got your bourbon, which maybe kind of crosses somehow. I think you got your bourbon soaked cherry wood. You got your oak barrel, right? I mean, it's just. Or I wonder if they use a cherry barrel. I don't know the if there's oak in it or not. Oh, oak aged, yes, oak aged beer and cherry wood. Maybe they just soaked the cherry wood shavings or cherry wood slices of cherry wood and threw it in there. I don't know. Seems like something like kind of how they describe it there. Yeah, the aroma's getting much better as this beer's warming up, and it's really you're shaking around the cup, and it's gassing off here. A lot of alcohol. Oh, and I forgot. This is an 8.3% beer, and it's masking that quite well. I'm picking it up, but I'm picking it up from the whiskey side of things. I'm picking it up from the whiskey barrel, the bourbon flavors. I am picking up some heavy alcohol, but not. I'm saying it's still masked quite nicely with the malty fruity flavors and the sweetness. It is quite carbonated. Like, it looks like it's low carb, it kind of is, but it does have a bit of carbonation there, a bit of foam in the mouthfeel. I don't know if I could. It feels like it's a dry mouthfeel, but there's definitely sweetness to it in the finish for sure. Yeah, it's kind of sweet. Mm. Sweet and bitter. If that makes any sense. Yeah, it's bitter and bittersweet. Yeah, totally. I'm just trying to go through a bit of a list here for you. As for hops, I don't really pull a whole lot of hops out of the Innis and Gunns. A whole lot, a little bit maybe, but Well, if I had to compare it to anything, it would be the original Innis, because of the color of the malt body and stuff. But it's a lot different than that. But other than that, there's not much you can really compare this to. The head has pretty much disappeared, and it's not really lacing. It's not overly viscous or anything. Well, do you want me to read you the ingredient list? Alright. I hate doing this, but we'll do it anyway. Okay, so Scotch ale with an unusual combination of grains, optic and crystal aromatic barley malt, plus roasted barley and wheat to give it its full malty backbone. Then we put the beer through a longer boil and caramelize the malt flavors, blah blah blah. Goldings and super styrene. Blah blah blah. Alright, so there you go. I've used them styrene Goldings, but they use Goldings and super styrene, which I've used those hops for some beer. Not those exact strains, but similar ones, I guess. The only thing I don't like about it is a little bit. It's kind of rich and sweet, and then the maple syrup. Not really. And that's kind of the one thing that makes it different, though. Like, it's still good, but I've tried to make beer with maple syrup before, and I didn't like it. But you couldn't really taste it the same way this one. You can taste it though. It kind of gives you a bit of a tanginess to it. Well, it's a pretty damn good beer though. Yeah, it's one of the sweetest beers in this type of category or whatever that I've. Yeah, Scottish Heavy's pretty rich and sweet. It is a Scottish style beer after all. Maybe that's what they mean. Definitely not the same color as a Scottish Heavy. More caramel for dang sure. Well, you know, the maple, I'm really pulling a lot of maple syrup out of this beer. Especially when getting down to the bottom like this. I didn't think I would get much of the maple. But it's really coming through the maple syrup. And the fruitiness is just pretty. They described it quite well here. I don't want to milk it too long. You know what I'm saying? But it's this kind of beer, you know, I'm 13 minutes in. Probably tasted after about 2 minutes probably. So, yeah, you're going to need 10 minutes to drink this beer. Whew, yeah. Just solid. Yeah, it's definitely the kind of beer I'm only going to have one of, you know. If I had two, I'd probably drink two. I don't know. But, and don't forget, 8.3%. You'll remember that in a few minutes after you're done. Oh yeah, why am I half pissed? Exciting. Definitely maple syrup all through that aftertaste, and and the finish, that's just maple syrup, man. And the woody bourbon, freaking bourbon. Right up your freaking palate, pal. You know what I'm saying? Well, whiskey. We're getting that bourbon, man. Bourbon off the front. Nice though. I'm not a whiskey drinker, so I have to have beer that was brewed in whiskey barrels. Just right for me. You know what I'm saying? I can handle that. Oh, I got some bourbon. Buddy gave me this. He didn't like it. It's maybe I'll do a review of this sometime, maybe next. 50% alcohol. Knob Creek, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Aged for 9 years. Didn't like it, so he gave it to me. And I like to drink it with like a little bit of water on top, but maybe I could make a smell comparison for you. See if it smells like this fine bourbon I got here. Oh, that's a beauty. That's a beauty smell right there. And I don't get too excited about whiskey. Yeah, definitely sweeter. And saying something. Oh, no, maybe not. That's definitely sweeter, man. Oh, that smells like real nice bourbon. I've had some already, but you know how whiskey is. It's, you know, pretty intense stuff. Yeah, well, that's a good bourbon, and yeah, I'm definitely. Oh yeah, definitely smell the comparison here. Ah, well, it's flatter, kind of like your English style, like an ESB, kind of really ultra low carb, sort of like it wasn't high carb at the start, but really high carb at the start, and then it kind of flattened out and got really kind of sweet. I call it ashtray beer. It's like your ESB or your like your old speckled hen. That's another great style that kind of reminds the body and the mouthfeel reminds me a lot of like this reminds me a lot of that. If you like an ESB, and most beer fanatics do, and the old speckled hen, that's an enjoyable beer, and that's what this is. And Innis and Gunn, yeah, you know what I'm saying? They're enjoyable beers. I'm saying. So maybe we'll do the Nab Creek next. Yeah. All right. Merry Christmas to y'all, and you know, gotta try the Innis. Say Innis and Gunn. Never let me down. All right, for a rate. Compared to other Innis and Gunns, I'll rate this one. It's not my favorite Innis and Gunn, believe it or not, but it still was an awesome beer. I really enjoyed the Irish whiskey cask Innis and Gunn a lot, and the rum finish quite a bit. And the original is it's just fantastic. This was really good, but it's a little bit left to center, which is kind of cool. So for the points I would deduct off of not being my favorite, it kind of have to give it back to him for originality. So I don't know. I got a little bit of a tangy at the back there that you know what I mean. That kind of like from the sweetness is kind of. I don't like that. I don't like sweet stuff. Because it's just in the back of your tongue and it goes rank and gives you all kinds of problems. You know, it's diabetes and shit. Like, so I don't know. This is a tough one for me. I'm 18 minutes in, but I don't give a shit. It's a savorable beer. Let's just concentrate here. Make sure we don't screw this one up right. I'm gonna 9 out of 11. And most of the Innises would probably be like higher up than that for me. So that's kind of shitty for them. They went to all that work, but I definitely am glad I bought it. Glad I tried it. Pound for pound, I'd take an Innis Original or Irish whiskey cask or rum finish or one of their other ones. But glad I did it. Glad I went out on a limb and put myself on the line. But if you see it, pick it up. What the hell, right? So 9 out of 11.